Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us for yet another session of Café New Canadians. Café New Canadians is your virtual event series where we bring you information of importance to newcomers in Canada. We bring you chats, we bring you dialogue. We have experts coming to speak to you about topics that matter to you newcomers in Canada. Today, the topic we're going to be talking about on this session of Café New Canadians is, I am a newcomer. Do I need a mentor? We're going to answer that question later. And remember, Café New Canadians is brought to you by New Canadians TV, your web and TV series that brings you information on settlement, education, entrepreneurship, among others. And you can watch us on Omni Television and our YouTube channel, youtube.com/New Canadians, and also on our website, newcanadians.tv. And my name is Gertrude Tumusime, and I'm delighted to host lead mentors and mentees from different parts of Canada, of course. And the first one is Yilmaz E. Dink. He's a research and evaluation manager at TRIAC. And I'm also happy to host Delisha Barty, who is a clinical researcher and a mentee. And I also have Sanoba Sayed, who is a forecasting and strategy manager at AbbVie and senior manager, strategy and capabilities at TD Bank, Jonathan D. Almanza. My panelists, you're all welcome to this show.
Thank you. It's great to be here.
Okay, so today, our topic, I'm a newcomer. Do I need a mentor? That is a question that every newcomer probably asks themselves. I mean, can I walk this journey alone? Because we all know that when we move to a new country and try to kind of chase our career goals and try to see that we succeed in our careers or our professional, lives from back home into Canada, we need to walk a journey, which we all agree is not very easy. So is it any easier if I'm walking it with a mentor? Is it any easier when I have somebody to advise here and there? We are going to find out all that. But for everyone attending, I see people attending from New Brunswick. I see some people attending from Edmonton, from Toronto. Thank you. We are so glad that you could join us today. And I'm telling you that you'll not regret, because it's going to be one hell of a session. No, one heaven of a session. And remember that at any time during this webinar, you can send in your questions. If you're attending on Zoom, in the Q&A section. And if you're watching us on YouTube, remember to write your questions in the comment section. Once again, a very warm welcome to everybody on the show.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah, are you all happy? Did you have a good day?
Yeah, it's been a great day.
Okay,
Looking forward to this and talking to my fellow panelists.
That is nice. So I understand that the panel, we have two gentlemen and two ladies, mentors and mentees. Some of you have been mentees and then now you're mentors. So I'd like each one of you to introduce yourselves just briefly in relation to mentorship. I will start with Sanoba Sayed. Can you share with us a little bit about yourself in regards to mentorship?
Yes, thank you. Thank you so much, Trudy. Okay, that's what we call Gertrude, by the way, loving it, that's Trudy. So thank you so much for having me today. I am so delighted to see so many participants, and I am really excited for the next hour. We have some amazing talent out here on this panel. To give a little brief about my mentorship background, I've been mentoring, I think, over like professionally mentoring and being part of the organizations more than a year and a half now. But however, I used to mentor long back, even before I arrived in Canada, to different, functionally as well as professionally. But after coming to Canada, I think I took up a little more aggressively because I saw that there was so much I would receive as much as I would give. So I think that's the concept of mentoring. And I have seen people and myself benefiting from this mentorship, benefiting from this communication exchange. And I think it is really, really a blessing to have a mentor. And it is really a very good way to not do those mistakes or do those things which have worked well. I understand there are different scenarios. However, to kind of keep it very crisp, mentorship definitely helps you. And I'm sure you would hear our stories and our experience in the next 50 to 55 minutes. And by the end of this call, I will be looking for the chat box to see you're convinced of having a mentor.
Thank you, Sanova. And we are looking forward to all that information you're yet to share. Jonathan, can you please tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yes, thank you very much again for inviting us. I'll echo what Sandovar said. It is great to have a mentor, and I myself have become passionate about mentoring over the couple of years that I've been here in Canada. First of all, thanks to generous mentors that have taken their time to really guide me throughout my career in Canada over the past couple of years, and also the two very rewarding experiences supporting others that I've had as a mentor myself. Some of our touched on this, that you get so much out of really being able to pass on the knowledge that you yourself have received and start to pay it forward. And I have been both a mentee and a mentor in TriX, the Mentoring Partnership Program. And today I consistently volunteer with Access Employment in their speed mentoring programs. So I'm always looking to get out there and also do sometimes informal mentoring with people who I meet through those programs, and always looking forward to passing on some information. If I can save someone time in their career progression or just in general in their settlement in Canada, it's not just about jobs, it's about finding new life here in Canada. I'm always happy to share about that.
Thank you so much, Jonathan. Dalisha, would you like to share with us a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, thank you, Trudy, for the wonderful introduction. I'm very glad to be here. Like many of us who are participants, I am a newcomer to Canada. I came in January, and then we are all dealing with COVID. I honestly have this belief that with a mentor, your path becomes a bit easier because you have a guide. And I am joining this session with the hope that by the end, many of you will have your doubts and your questions cleared up through our discussion. And I would really appreciate if you guys actively participate, and then we can have more doubts solved up. And I'm hoping for a very good hour of this discussion. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dalisha. We are looking forward to hearing from you as a mentee who actually just arrived from Canada, if you are already receiving fruits from your mentorship partnership. And thank you so much. And Yilmaz Ding, please, can you also share with us a little bit about yourself?
Thank you so much, Trudy, for the introduction. It's my utmost pleasure to be connecting with all of you who is listening online and with my dear panelists today. As Trudy mentioned, I'm the Research and Evaluation Manager of TriX. So basically, I'm here to share the data and evidence that mentoring works. Mentoring really does work, and it makes a big difference on the lives of newcomers. I'm a newcomer myself, and I didn't have the opportunity to have a formal mentor, but I benefited from volunteers, different people who provided informal mentoring and coaching support that really made a difference in my career. And with programs like TriX Mentoring Partnership, Access Employment, and others that we have mentioned, I think newcomers really benefit from established professionals here who help them navigate the job market. And I think the discussion we are having here is really important, given all the uncertainty in the labor market, that newcomers know that they can access help and support.
Okay, thank you all for sharing those wonderful briefs about yourself. So let us start with, what is mentorship? I need to really understand what is mentorship, and I know I'm not alone. I might be thinking of mentorship is me getting another person to advise me here and there, but is there like a core kind of interpretation of what mentorship is really? Okay, who wants to go?
I can go first. I think I made a little bit of a teaser there where I started talking about mentoring. Well, it's first important to acknowledge that there are different forms of mentoring. As you mentioned, mentoring can happen on an informal or an infrequent basis, but within Canada and within the immigrant inclusion landscape, usually what we are referring to is a structured professional relationship. where an established professional who can be an immigrant themselves or somebody who is born in Canada but is willing to give back guides a newcomer who recently arrived in Canada and would like to establish a career here, navigate the job market. So what does this mean? This means the mentor provides the local, labor market insights, how a resume is supposed to look like, how interviews are conducted here, because these, while it might seem that, there are international good practices, it's really important to have the local nuances to be able to land a good job, especially within your own field of training and where your experience and expertise is most relevant. So that's where mentoring comes in, where you have this professional relationship that helps you establish yourselves within your field in Canada.
Okay, thank you. That is certainly insightful. Jonathan, you mentioned something before that sometimes it's the whole sector of settlements. It's not just, for the job. And I hear Yilmaz really talking about mentorship in terms of professional growth and stuff. Can you also give us a little bit about mentorship now on a wider basis?
Sure, and I think that's a really important distinction that I think we should make. First of all, is there are different types of mentors, and you want to diversify the types of mentors that you have. We are probably going to be talking today about professional mentorship, which is exactly what Yilmaz mentioned, is someone that is going to be helping you and guiding you as you're trying to reconnect with your career here in Canada, or as you're progressing in your career. But you should also be looking for other types of mentors who are just, people who have recently arrived, who maybe arrived here 6 months, 12 months before you. And those are the people that you want to be directing your questions about settlement and getting and starting to find things here in Canada. So you're not using up the time with your professional mentor to talk about those things. Mm-hmm. And the other thing that I just wanted to briefly add is to say, for me personally, in my experiences, mentorship is guided discovery. It is not instruction. You're not getting a coach that is going to teach you something. They're going to probably tell you things that you don't know, but that doesn't mean that they're there to instruct you. It's a guided discovery. You should be the one who's researching and finding things as well. And it's also not someone finding you a job. As much as we would like to have someone introduce us to the dream job right away, it's not someone finding you a job. It's someone who's going to help you bring out the best of yourself as you're presenting yourself to contacts, as you're building your network, and as you're presenting yourself to employers. Yeah. And you yourself, I'm sure, are more than capable of landing a job. But the guided discovery will help you to be there in the best terms possible, the best version of yourself.
That is great. Thank you for mentioning that. And I would like you to talk more about that when we come to now what the relationship between a mentor and a mentee should be, where we should draw the lines. Yeah, but we need to understand why exactly as a newcomer do I need a mentor? So Sayed, Sanoba, do you want to share with us why exactly as a newcomer do I need a mentor?
Yes, absolutely, with much delight. I think even before you understand why do you need a mentor, I think it's very important for you to self-analyze, to introspect as to what do you think your short-term or mid-term goals are. When you look for a mentor, you definitely have a goal like, okay, I from 2 years down the line, I want to do this. Okay, great. But what is your immediate action? And I would treat mentorship as somebody who is, imagine when you join an office, you get a buddy and you get a mentor. It's sometimes a lot of that relationship. However, in an office setup, it's like you would have, more like you would want to do that because you were like, your boss tells you, okay, this is your buddy and you've got to train him. But in a professional mentorship, it is, if you're going through Access, if you're going through via Triac, JVS Toronto, any other organization, they have all structured mentorship. But what do you want to achieve from that mentorship is a reflection of what your immediate or midterm goals are, A. B, what do you self-introspect? Like, I want a job or I want a life like this. However, you need to take steps towards it. You might be lucky, you might get that, but what is your steps? What are your goals? I think if you didn't define that, that mentor can help you. And the other thing important is you need, like if you're a mentee and you're looking for a mentor, you need to be in the driver's seat. Like, you know, when you take the driving test, you are in the driving seat, you're driving, and that person besides you is telling you, oh, don't go there, don't do this, put an indicator on. So that's something like that. So your job in your life would be somebody, you are in the driving seat, you are taking all those questions, initiatives, because a mentor, irrespective of Access, Triac, you know, and if I'm not mentioning any name, please excuse me on that. But any organization, if you go through a professional or a mentorship, it would be always be retorting that you have to be the driver. So as much as I am learning, I'm giving, but you are the driver for your own life, for your own Canadian life, and you got to kind of envision it along with the mentor. So I think there are expectations, and I know Trudy will touch on that. So I'm going to allow her to, you know, go ahead.
Okay, Sanova, thank you for sharing. But before we go any further, there's a very stinging question that just came in. I saw it here, and I think it's right at where we were talking about. I think one of you mentioned that a coach, I think it was Jonathan, a coach, and then a professional mentor, right? So someone wants to know, would you please differentiate for them? What's the difference between a coach, you know, a career coach, and a professional mentor? Jonathan?
Yeah, I guess I'll take that back. And again, I think a career coach, once again, is someone that is probably going to be instructing you and giving you a wealth of information and just making you more equipped to be able to handle the situations that you're trying to navigate. Whereas a mentor may not necessarily have that background of instruction. They're going to be speaking primarily from their own personal experience, from their own lived experience, and what they see around them that seems to be working. So that is an important distinction, because you also want to understand the limits of your mentor. They may not have gone through the same experience that you're going to. A mentor for a newcomer, a mentor does not necessarily have to be another newcomer. I think there's value in finding a mentor that's a newcomer because there are points of connection. But there's also a lot of value in finding someone who is not a newcomer. They will help you to understand different things. And again, I go back to diversifying the mentors that you have. You don't need to be putting everything on top of one's shoulder. And Sanovar was right on. You need to also have a goal and an objective. So when you talk to that mentor, you need to be very clear about, this is my goal and objective for this mentorship. I may have other mentors that are going to help me with different things. I may have a career coach as well, and that's going to help me with something else.
So, okay, just conclude.
I was going to say, and I may be going to employment agencies where I'm getting information that I'm not going to be asking you to provide me, such as how to write a resume or how to do interviewing, for example.
Okay, so there is no wrong in having more than one mentor, right?
As long as you have clear objectives and it's making sense for you and your mentor to be in that relationship, and you're not spreading yourself too thin, I think it's fine.
Okay, thank you so much. I want to talk to Dalisha as a mentee, who also just arrived in Canada recently. Can you share a little bit about your journey of mentorship? You know, how you're getting mentorship and how it is helping you. Are you already, you know, have you already hit some of your goals, or are you still on that journey? Please share with us.
Yeah, so for me, it was very different. When I came here, unfortunately, there's COVID and things are already, you know, in multiplication of the effort that you need to reach where you want to. I totally agree with Jonathan and Sanobar. Well, Sanobar is my mentor and she's a gem. What I would like to add is, yes, she always encouraged me with this, that you have to know what you want, then only I can help you with it. For me, it was very, very different, like I said. And Jonathan added that your mentor is not going to let you, you know, okay, get this job, get that job. No, but they may help you with the guidance that how are you going to approach things. Maybe they went through the same path as you. They may not be into the similar profession, or they may not be at your dream job right now, but they have gone through the same path. They have built their own path. And if someone has that, definitely they do have an experience. And for me, my mentor has helped me how to approach small things to the bigger ones. For instance, let me start from answering the emails. I was very poor with it. I'm sorry to say this, but from answering the emails to how to approach people, how you have to know that what you want. This is, I believe, the most important thing here. You have to know where you want to be and what you want, and then you have to make a plan for yourself. Your mentor can be your guide, but your mentor cannot be the designer of your plan. I think it's very important as a mentee to know which person to approach for what thing you want. You cannot be having, okay, a universal mentor. Well, if you have that, you're very lucky, but you have to choose which mentor you want for a particular thing that you are trying to learn. I think that's how it works for me. Yeah.
Okay, and do you find that this has been helpful in your professional journey? For example, if you are working already, or rather if you got a job after arriving in Canada, has the mentorship had an input to that?
Yes, definitely. I believe, okay, my mentor is very, very nice. She would even send me some jobs, you know. She's really cute in that way. But I would say, yes, definitely. It helped me crack many interviews. I'm waiting for the results. I'm currently working, and yes, it has definitely helped me. And if it comes to the dream job, yes, it is helping me. How do I proceed from here? I'm at a beginner entry position right now. How do I go from here? And that only comes because my mentee was at the same position, and somehow she managed to do it, and now she's willing to teach it, and I am coachable. So I believe this is how it works. It's give and take, like Sanobar mentioned, it's give and take. You have to be receptive of things, and you have to be, able to put them or implement them up into your plan so that you go ahead with things.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you so much, Delisha, for sharing. We'll get back to you. Now, Yilmaz, I would like you to share with us about the research that Trek recently did, and why exactly it points to, yes, mentorship is working. So can you share with us?
Yeah, thank you so much. As you may know, TRIAC has TRIAC Mentoring Partnership, which is our flagship mentoring program that's been supporting newcomer professionals to find a job in their field almost for the last 15, 16 years. So around 19,000 newcomers have benefited from the program, and we have always been looking at our impact. Around 77% of those newcomer professionals find a job within their field within 6 months of program completion. But this was just program reporting. So last year we did an in-depth external evaluation of the program, which looked at also as mentoring as a practice, not just the results of our program, but why does mentoring work? Why does it help newcomer professionals? What's the essence of mentoring that helps newcomers' career journey? And what we found that the newcomer professionals who participate to the program are much more likely to be in good quality jobs that are permanent, jobs that are full-time, jobs that are not contract-based, but where you get a permanent position and with good opportunities for advancement. So the program participants were around 2.5 times more likely to get those jobs compared to those who don't participate with equivalent qualifications. So you might ask, how does that happen? One of the primary reasons is your job search skills really benefit from participating to a mentoring program, how you build your resume, how you participate in interviews. Because as much as we can do our own research, having those local insights, especially from a professional within your own field, really makes a big difference for you to capture those nuances. The second thing is the program participants were 4 times more likely to expand their networks compared to those who did not participate. And I think it's really important to highlight that the mentor doesn't need to necessarily introduce you to the people themselves, but they help you to identify the sources of experts and people that you can reach out to. Yes, mentors do sometimes, introduce their mentees to people, but most importantly, they teach you the art of networking with others and how you can identify additional sources to expand your network, which avenues would be right for you to look for experts to connect with.
Good. So that is very good feedback from that research. Thank you so much for sharing. Remember to send in your questions in the Q&A tab for our panelists to answer those questions later. Now, we would like to understand, how do I get a mentor? If I'm a newcomer, I just came in, where do I start from? And let's speak about not only people in Toronto, for example, but anywhere else in the country, in Canada. How does somebody get a mentor? Jonathan, do you want to guide us on that?
Sure, I can take a stab at that. So again, settlement agencies are a great place to come and find a professional mentor. And again, we are talking right now about the professional mentors that are looking to help you get settled in Canada with a relevant job to your experience. So I would say settlement agencies are definitely a place that you want to start. They will introduce you to the programs that they know are available. In the case here of the GTA, the TRIAC Mentoring Partnership, which is what Yilmaz has been mentioning, is one where we normally refer people to, but I'm sure that they exist all over the country. Beyond that, you can also look for community organizations, ethnic organizations, professional organizations. They will all likely have a mentoring program. So again, I know that many organizations here, which are for a specific career or a specific designation, they will normally have their own. Technology organizations will have them, engineers, especially medical professionals will have their own. And then finally, if you end up going into education and you go to a school, for example, you can also get plugged into mentorship programs to the school. And finally, when you finally get a job and you find, you land in your company, likely there will be either structured mentoring programs at that job place, or if there's not something structured, I think Sanobar mentioned that, and Delisha, you can always ask someone to become your buddy and your mentor. And that's another way to get one.
Okay, Sanoba, do you want to add anything about that? Of where can anybody get a mentor when they just come in?
I think Jonathan covered quite a big exhaustive list, but I think my 2 cents over here would be, even before you start coming to Canada, you would go ahead and see where you want to, say settle. For example, if Toronto, New Brunswick, Edmonton, wherever you are, you would want to see what's the locality, the geography, the opportunities for you, number one. So you should be kind of making yourself do that homework to first understand which area, region. Number two, a lot, like if you would want to have a professional mentor. So when you say professional, if you are a CPA, CA, finance person, you definitely every like a professional, technical, any kind of qualification would have their own circle for sure. Even a simple Google will give you that results, and then you would get that lead how to go. Go about it. For example, and if you don't find somebody or some organization which is actually kind of aligned to you, which I'm sure would not be the case, but in case if you find, you can go and ask, for example, TRIAC. These organizations are pan-Canada, and they have pre-arrival services, a lot of them have. So you can connect with them and maybe you will get help. As a general rule, I have seen people are very nice. They would refer you if to somebody who can help you. I've always seen that. Okay. So I think tips are, number one, even before arriving, do your homework when you come here so that you are targeting and not wasting that much of time on the professional front.
Okay. Pre-arrival, you can get mentors, and you can check out Canada Infonet by JVS. That's one of the programs that can help you find a mentor pre-arrival. Yeah, thank you so much. Yilmaz, you're burning to tell us something about that.
Yes, exactly. I would just, since TRIAC is Toronto-based, I would just like to, underline that there are also other immigrant employment councils in other provinces and cities that provide similar mentoring programs. I know, for instance, one of our colleagues from Edmonton Region Immigrant Employment Council is joining us. There is Calgary Region Immigrant Employment Council, Immigrant Employment Council of British Columbia. So all different provinces and cities, at least the major ones, have immigrant employment councils with similar programs. And if you are moving to a different area, as Jonathan has mentioned, different community organizations offer mentoring like support. One thing that I would like to highlight is, mentoring works best when newcomers are job ready. So that level differs for every newcomer, and it's important for the newcomer to assess themselves, also to get support from settlement service agencies to see where they are in their career journey. But our research shows that mentoring produces the best results for you when you are job ready, and taking that journey to the mentoring is really important. Mentoring is the last step that takes you to employment, basically.
Okay, just before Jonathan says something, can you just elaborate a little bit about being job ready? What exactly do you mean by that?
So, mentoring relationship is in most programs, mentoring is done on a voluntary basis. It could be around 10 to 20 hours over a course of a few months. This is, while it's a very valuable time with a professional who can give you the local insights and, ways of searching for a job, building a resume, it may not be always enough to help you to kind of enhance and improve your job search skills to the utmost degree. You may need other supports, other workshops, other trainings that might help you to gain the job search skills and be employable. So, for instance, in the context of our research, we have seen that the more settlement services that newcomer professionals use, the higher the employment outcome through mentoring.
Oh, okay. Thank you so much. Jonathan, you wanted to add something to that?
I just wanted to address a question that was in the chat real quick about someone who said that they're a Canadian citizen and they're looking to see if there's any mentorship programs for Canadian citizens. And I just want to reiterate, when we talk about employment or agencies, those programs, you can always approach them. Schools, you can approach them. Professional networks, again, from designations or the certification bodies, you can approach them. So everything that we're talking about, in the most part, is available to both Canadian citizens who are looking to improve and advance in their career development, and also for newcomers.
Okay, thank you so much. So I have gone to these employment agencies, to the schools, and wherever. I have found myself a mentor. We are starting a relationship. So what should I expect? What should be my expectations from my mentor? Sanoba, can you share?
Yes, and I think that's a beautiful question, because a lot of times, like I'm part of TRIAC, Access, and JVS Toronto's pre-arrival services. So all the three programs, I kind of take at one time at least three regular plus a lot of other mentors which are informally. And I always begin my partnership by saying that I am also a human at the end. I also have a life, and I also have limited time wherein I can, give towards mentorship. This is my passion, and I do. And I'm sure everybody would agree that there's only so much time where we could do. So the do's would be, as again, research what you want, be very specific. Like, you don't want to be vague, like, okay, this is not happening, what should I do? No, be specific, try and introspect, try and investigate yourself, and then come. The mentor should be somebody who would be guiding you, and somebody who can lead and maybe brainstorm the answers. A mentor might not be every time available for you, like, oh, you have a problem, and then you just kind of text, or you need to respect that person's time and engagement. Treat it as a professional relationship you would be treating in an office. I'm sure we all have worked in professional scenarios, and we would be mindful and respectful of the time. You don't want to, you have to be flexible, and more importantly, coachable, ready to listen. Like I absolutely adored Delisha when I'm coaching her, because she's ready to listen. She is somebody who might have some ideas. Okay, like maybe this thing works like this, but I would say, okay, my experience, these things work like this. So we kind of, want to have that open dialogue wherein we might have bust some myths. And very, very important, lastly, mentorship do's would be, a mentor would help you understand the phenomena of Canadian experience. I mean, everybody tells that, okay, what is Canadian experience? And I'm sure like we are 5 people out here, all 5 of us would have different answers to that. And trust me, 500, 5,000, everybody would have different answers. So you need to understand what is Canadian experience, gather that, assimilate that, and then that would be very, very beneficial for you. Yeah, Trudy.
Yeah, thank you so much. So would like to understand more, like from you, Dalisha, from a mentee's perspective. You know, when you got into this mentorship relationship with your mentor, who is actually here with us, what did you expect, and did your expectations were they actually met? Did you have anybody coach you a little bit before you got into the mentorship? How did you even find your mentor?
I will be very, very honest with you that, like Sanobar said, that you have to do your homework. For me, my homework was LinkedIn. I believe that for any newcomer, that's a very easy and approachable platform that if you see someone from who can help you or guide you. And I met Sanobar to Access Employment. That's how I got introduced with her. And then I believe I approached her with a question, and I had something in my mind that this is something which is new to me as a new Canadian, and I'm having a trouble figuring out a way, because I believe, as per me, it should be done this way, but it's not working out for me. Can you suggest me of anything? For instance, this is my resume, but it is not getting picked up. Can you give me your suggestions? What do you guide me with? What changes should I make to make it look more Canadian and for it being more acceptable? I believe approaching people, and it's not that it was one way, but when I spoke with her, I knew her through Access. I was in constant touch with her through LinkedIn, and that's how it just automatically clicked in. And then she was very much responsive with what I asked. She always supported me with the answers. I'm not saying that your mentor is always available, but no matter they're available today, they'll surely get back to you, because I think it's a two-way relationship. That's how it works. And then you stay in constant touch with that person. And definitely, if you maintain that relationship very well on a professional ground, it's supposed to benefit you one way or the other. So I think for me, that's how it worked. And I believe it's very easy to try it on LinkedIn, and then you can get yourself enrolled in any program you believe the people you want will be available. So I think for me, this is how it worked. It was starting from an employment program and then staying in constant connection. And then from there, Sanobar took it all. I mean, I didn't have to do much. She was there.
So I have one thing to add
that's
on.
how it worked, Judy.
I have one thing to add on to that point. A lot of times, like in my mentorship career, I've seen mentees who kind of really are, they come with full passion, but then sometimes they fizz out. They fizz out with that enthusiasm. They fizz out with the rejections. They fizz out with a lot of factors. So when you fizz out, the mentor also fizzes out with the energy. The other thing is you have to have a constant engagement. Like you need to be engaged. You need to show up. Like you have to be on that recall value. So if I'm mentoring like 6 or 7 people, and like every 3 months I'm mentoring so many people apart from my regular life, how would you be on a recall? So like Danisha said, LinkedIn is an excellent way of being there on the recall, engaging and showing your value. A lot of people feel that when you post or like or engage somebody's LinkedIn, it's for the other one, but no, it's for you, because when you do it, people are looking at your comment, your engagement. So that also comes back to you. So I mean, just wanted to add this line that the mentee also needs to be mindful and not fizz out on the process. Have patience, and perseverance is very important.
Yeah, thank you for mentioning that last bit. But we also know that many mentees actually come to mentors coming from a point of frustration. One, maybe because of the job search, journey. It's too frustrating. I've been looking and nobody's hiring me. Maybe let me find my mentor. Maybe they will fix something for me. Maybe, we come with all these expectations of what a mentor is supposed to, provide. So, Yilmaz, what should be my expectations exactly? What should I come expecting you to get me a job if I really want ask you to mentor me, or if I get you as a mentee, rather a mentor?
That's a really important question. And as you mentioned in the beginning, mentors are not there to find you a job. Mentors empower you in your career journey to find a job. So the end goal is employment, but the mentor's job is not to secure that path. Mentor's job is to occupy with insights, help you build your skills, help you build your networks in getting to the, fulfilling the career goals that you would like to achieve. And the evidence is out there that mentoring really works, but for that to happen, it's really important to set clear boundaries about that. This is in the end a professional relationship. It's two ways. Mentors also end up learning a lot from the mentee, so it's not that mentor just goes into the mentoring relationship and spills all the facts and the mentee takes them all in and goes and applies for jobs. It usually doesn't work like this. Not usually, it never works like this. It's always a learning process for both sides. Mentors are positively surprised in all the international experiences, business perspectives that mentees bring. Anecdotally, I'm sure Jonathan and Sanabar, who also mentored with Triac Mentoring Partnership, could share their experiences, but mentors are always surprised that, wow, the level of international talent, the experience and skills that they bring is really impressive. And what they need is how to present and brand themselves in a new market where they can show that these skills and expertise is really relevant to employers.
Okay, and thank you for mentioning that. There's a question that is kind of related from one of the attendees, Omo Tolani. They ask that I'm a new international student in Canada. I've been trying to apply for a part-time job. I've adjusted my resume to comply with Canadian style, but it has not been very successful yet. It seems my applications are being trashed. I believe I need a mentor. What else do I need to do, please? It's so frustrating. So we're talking about frustration. People are looking for mentors because they feel like they're pressed against the wall. So Jonathan, would you have any advice for a person like Omatolani?
Yes, and I was gonna actually I wanted to answer that because I think what you need, first of all, is not necessarily a mentor. You need a professional network. And the reason I'll say that is, yes, a mentor can help you. For you to get better at writing your resume, there are other avenues like going to a settlement agency or an employment agency where you can take workshops. Even at your school, if you're an international student, I'm sure that at your school, there is a place where you can actually get workshops on resume writing. You should use those. You should be taking to your mentor a polished version of your resume after you have gone to a workshop so they can then further refine it. So again, you need to be very clear about what the mentorship is for. But at the same time, I mentioned the network that you need. Oftentimes job search, oftentimes the frustrating part about job search is that you're always doing it remotely. You're just sending in your application and you're hoping that someone's going to find you as a diamond in the rough, right? And they're going to give you that job. Whereas here in Canada, most of the time you need to have gotten already into the hidden job market somehow. You need to know where the opportunities are before they're public. You need to already know people and have people know you before you actually apply for that job. So again, that's only going to happen through a network. A mentor can also point you in the direction of how to find a network, but ultimately the network is what's going to help you to be much more successful in your job search.
Okay, so back to the relationship between a mentor and a mentee. What is too much or what is too little? I heard Sanoba mentioning about hours. So how many hours, for example, do I have? When does the the relationship kind of end? When it ends, can I be your friend anymore? Can I call you up for a coffee? Can we go out to dance, or just take a coffee or lunch or anything? Like, I just want to us to get kind of where the boundaries, or where should the professional end, and where should life start. But first, let's start with how long is the arrangement, for example, on an average, for the different mentorship programs. Who wants to answer that? Yomaz?
Yeah, sure. I can go first. I think in our program, mentorship is a 3-month relationship in a total, and the total hours that the mentor and mentee spend together is around 18 hours. So for that period of time, we really try to empower our mentors with content and resources that would help them support the newcomer professional in a way that's useful for their career journey. I think in terms of the balance between mentee and mentor, it's important to keep the relationship professional, but it's really up to the mentee and mentor to find the balance that works for them. We have mentees and mentors who remain friends, after the program is over. We have those that sometimes hire or help them hire their mentees in their own companies. So that the way that the relationship evolves is really up to the mentee and mentor, but there are boundaries, and there's a structure that programs like ours put in place so that it doesn't deviate from the goals of empowerment in the job market, finding employment, and having a successful career afterwards.
Thank you so much for sharing about that. Dalisha, can we also understand from a mentee's point of view what kind of the relationship is in terms of, do you feel like the hours that you have with your mentor are just enough, or do you feel like it should be, more time?
Yes, exactly. It's what I said before, that it all depends on, you have to know what you want and how much time. It's not the mentor's time only that's going to matter. It's also about how much you are ready to put into the process. And I would like to also mention that as a new Canadian, something that you can easily get is, number one, rejection, second thing, frustration. That's common with everyone who comes up here. And your mentor can definitely lower down the burden of all these things by helping you walk through a process in a more refined way. You have someone that you can answer your professional questions for you, someone who can guide you with, why is my resume not working? So I believe, yes, having a mentor here is very important, because you get the answer to, why is my resume not working? Which direction do I go? Am I applying in the right direction? Is this where, when, and how I should be applying? I think those things are really very important. And as a mentee, your relationship with the mentor constantly gets stronger when you come up with the clarity of of what you want from that relationship. That's how it gets strengthened. And how you maintain it is how you how you engage with each other throughout the process. And I believe that's how you maintain it. And you are at the driver's seat, so you know how far you go and how well you maintain it. That's it. Yeah, truly.
Yeah, thank you so much, Delisha. Let me take some of the questions sent to us by our attendees. Someone asked that, can they find a mentor themselves without using organizations like TRIAC, or how do they approach a professional who could guide them in line of a profession? And I think Dalisha mentioned that, for example, she got hers from, she connected on LinkedIn. So if either Jonathan or Sanoba wants to share with us any other resources that's not TRIAC, for example, that's for Toronto, but also you must mention that there's other places, or rather other councils in the different provinces and so on. But how I guess we can answer this question is, how does a person approach a mentor, like through the other on an individual basis, like for example, how Dalisha did. So anyone can guide us on how that can go? Jonathan?
Yeah, I can say, and again, I think mentorship is something that should be cultivated, and you should be doing even after you're a newcomer and after you already started working throughout the rest of your career. So it's a great question, because we're always going to be looking for mentors ideally. And again, it's about being clear about what you want. Why is it that you want to mentor? And one thing that I wanted to mention earlier is it's ideally a two-way relationship. Again, mentorship is not necessarily coaching. You're not just receiving. It's not a one-way street. You should also probably be able to offer something back. So one way to find a mentor is to say, well, I need this from a person, or I need someone to help me out and guide me in this situation. Maybe I can offer them this in exchange, right? So if you're looking within your organization, within your workplace, you can approach someone and say, hey, would you be interested in learning more about this? I have this experience. And if would you mind if we enter into a mentoring relationship where you tell me about this and I can teach you about this? And again, I think Yilmaz mentioned this. Most of the talent that we have coming into Canada today, and for many years now, is extremely talented professionals with a lot of knowledge in a variety of subjects. And that actually is different than the people who often have a very specific experience just in one field. So they will normally welcome other information, a variety of experiences. And I think that's one of the best ways to find a mentor, is by offering something in exchange for their time.
Okay, thank you so much. And is there any specific mentorship support available for an individual from medical stroke public health background? And I can see Jonathan already hinted on that you would start looking for professional associations related to your specific field. So Yilmaz, can you, or do you have any specific organizations that you know that people can go to for specific kind of mentorship partnerships?
Definitely. I think, one of the good examples is if you are working in a regulated profession, and if you come to Canada, you have to get your license first. And, that's a challenge on its own. Finding a job is difficult. Getting your license sometimes can be even more difficult than finding a job. So there are mentoring programs that help you navigate the licensing process. Again, this depends on your occupation. Lawyers have a completely different recognition or accreditation process than doctors or nurses do, but there are dedicated organizations that have their own mentorship programs, sometimes built-in bridging programs. I think it's really important, if you are in a regulated profession, to check, what are the available bridging programs, because, evidence shows that those really increase your chances to get a license and your employment prospects. So I think it's important to define, again, what you need. What is this mentoring program offering, and does it fit your occupation? Does it fit your sector, and what you can get out of the program? I think in the settlement sector, that there's usually a mismatch between all the services that are available, whom the service is for, and what the immigrant is expecting out of it. I think it's really important to clearly identify your objectives and try to do your research about what this program is offering, and does it fit your occupation profile? Does it fit the sector that you are working? Will it help you to achieve your career objectives? I think that's really important.
Thank you, Yilmaz. And we have a question from Simran who says, I actually never looked for a mentor because I led on the paths of people who already passed or did that thing before. But now, slowly, I am entering the real world and I'm feeling fogged. So I am currently a hospitality student. And can you help me with how to find the right mentor stroke guider for myself, someone that aligns with my views and who can lead me to success? So again, I think that's something you just said, to look for like a specific kind of field. So anyone wants to add anything on that question, or we are good for now? I feel like you just literally answered everything about it. And thank you. And so we have another person, an anonymous attendee, who wants to know, what is your advice when you are willing to work at junior level, but the response is that you are too senior? Similarly, for middle to senior level, the response we received that you don't have Canadian experience? Well, I guess they are working. Is it okay to work at a junior level, but the response you get that is that you're too senior for this position? Anyone wants to?
I will go first. I think firstly, there's a systemic problem about, Canadian experience, what it is, and what employers mean by asking for it. So my first, highlight is don't take it personal. This Canadian experience is a real systemic problem that affects newcomer professionals at an individual level. Probably, all of us have been affected for it one way or the other. International experience is unfortunately discounted when you are looking for a job, and sometimes the cited reasons include things like overqualification. I think it's really important to transition into a job that is in your field. I think seniority sometimes might be challenging to achieve. Organizations like TRIAC, we are trying to do our best to work with employers to create more inclusive workplaces where international experience is valued. I don't think we are there yet. There has been progress, but there's so much, there's still so much to be done. I think what's important is really, through mentorship and through other support, trying to get a job in your field with good advancement opportunities, and climb the ladder back up.
Okay, so the same anonymous attendee, I think, is adding to that question and saying that he or she has been here for over 14 months with past experience of 16 years, did an HR bridging program, mentorship with TRIAC, currently enrolled at York University for foundation program, still struggling landing a job. He has had discussions and meetings with employment counselors, agencies, and also doing strategic networking, but the job market and the response is extremely disappointing. He needs advice. Anyone wants to throw in a word?
I could go for that.
Yes, Sanoba, please.
I think hi, anonymous attendee. So let me tell you this. I think you have your question is 3 parts, and I saw Ilma's beautifully answer your first 2 parts. I think I can say when I mentor people who have more than they're more senior level, what is the hesitation for any employer or any HR person? One, to hire a senior person. So one would be, they feel that you would be very, like, you just want this job for, a stopgap arrangement, and then you might just take this experience and go somewhere. Is that the hesitation? Second is the salary package is very, not commensurate with your experience. Is that the hesitation? The third hesitation can be that maybe you wouldn't have, that kind of malleability and flexibility to bond with the team because you have your own set of ideas. It can be numerous reasons. What you need to do, I think, is one of the good ways is to show the when you go for an interview or when you go for a networking event, you need to show how you can add value. Like, it depends on you. Like, how do you mold your experience? You should take that experience as a strong point and be confident and present that, okay, I have that experience. That means I've dealt so many different personalities, got my work done, and I know how to do it. So, you need to take that person in confidence. The number 2 question which you came up with is the Canadian experience. I always say this, everybody has, whoever is coming to Canada does have Canadian experience. Why? What do you mean by Canadian experience? Like, I gave a full webinar on this topic, like, what do you mean by Canadian experience at Access? And my interpretation is that skills like communications, skills like team collaboration, skills like respect for culture, skills like inclusion and diversity. All these things kind of add up to a Canadian experience. I'm not talking about the technical skills. I'm talking about the behavioral skills. I think if you can show that you are flexible, you are there to add value, a long-term arrangement, and you have these transferable skills, I think you should be okay. The other thing is, you mentioned in the question that the job market is dismal. You're right. We all know that this is not the good time. Like, a lot of people are not even, moving jobs. They're all stay put because the job market is very unpredictable. So imagine for a normal employed person who wanted to just take a jump after the raise they got. They're not jumping jobs because they're just waiting. So imagine if you're a new person, it would be a challenge. But in this time, when you try and do networking, now I'm not sure what kind of networking you are doing, but in networking, the first thumb of rule would be, don't say hi. You send a LinkedIn request. The second is, I need a job. That's a disaster. Please don't do that. So if I'm not pointing out to you, anonymous attendee, I'm saying this, that, this can be a major shortcoming. Like, don't, like Jonathan said, don't like just ask, give them, and the best way of giving is giving your time, giving your thoughtful, say, comment on LinkedIn, thoughtful engagement on LinkedIn. That's how, they will notice that, okay, this person is kind of, engaging. And that's how, like Delisha and I, we met at Access first. That's how she knew me, and then she connected with me on LinkedIn, and then the rest is history.
Yeah.
So those were my 2 cents. And I hope, I kind of tried to answer your question.
Yeah, so thank you so much. I know that we would spend, an entire day, 24 hours or maybe more, talking about mentorship and everything that comes with it. And we probably will have more sessions like this one, in addition to just kind of bring out a few other areas. So unless there is a last minute parting shot that cannot wait, I would like to wrap it up at here. And thank everybody of you for joining and for sharing exhaustively and insightfully, and all that you've shared, I hope is beneficial to everyone who has attended and those who will continue to watch this. Well, Jonathan has a last thought. Make it quick, 30 seconds.
Please, if you find that mentoring is helpful for you, give back and pay it forward. Once you're settled, once you have some experience, please become a mentor yourself. There is always something that you can provide someone else. And again, mentorship should be a two-way street from the very beginning. But do go back and become a mentor yourself, please, because we need more mentors.
Great. Thank you for sharing, Jonathan. And you can connect with Jonathan, Yilmaz, Sanoba, and Delisha on LinkedIn. And I don't know about the other social media, but you can connect and certainly have conversations. Maybe you could get yourself one of these wonderful mentors as a mentor. So yeah, do connect with them. And thank you everybody for watching. Thank you everybody for attending. It's been insightful, and we have been talking about, I'm a newcomer, do I need a mentor? Thank you, my panelists, for their insightful submissions. And you can check out Triac Mentoring Partnership at www.mentoringpartnership.ca. And thank you everybody. Yeah, New Canadians, you can connect with us by subscribing to our newsletter, our monthly newsletter, and follow us on our social media channels, New Canadians, on Twitter, on Facebook, on Instagram, and then connect with us at the newsletter, where you'll find information on immigration, settlement, employment, education, small businesses, entrepreneurship, among others. And please, at the end of this session, please let us know how we are doing by remaining for a very short survey, and tell us how we can improve. Tell us the topics that you would want us to talk about. Tell us what you would want to hear, how we can make this a better experience for you. Thank you. My name is Gertrude Tumusime, and for me and the team at New Canadians,